The program is still New Day if you're just joining us. And with us in the studio this morning to talk about cyber security in Nigeria is the president of Cyber Security Experts Association of Nigeria, talking about Mr. Remi Aflon.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So we know that recently there was a cyber attack in almost more than 99 countries of the world in about 200,000 computers. And, you know, most of these countries are well-developed countries. Now, coming back to Nigeria, we know that we are not very strong when it comes to tackling cyber crimes and, you know, taking care of cyber security in Nigeria. So at this point, where do you think we can start from, you know, in taking care of our cyberspace, in handling cyber threats like this?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it was about 150 countries as at the last count, which Nigeria has been included now.
Oh, Nigeria has been included
in that list, and it affected more than 300,000 computers.
Yeah.
So basically, going back to your question, where do we start?
Yeah,
we have to start from awareness. You know, there's no country that is secured. Everyone is vulnerable. So, but the problem is, if we are aware, then we'll be able to tackle the problem. So, if people are aware of the basic things that they need to do, then we can now move to the next step of having controls in place and protecting ourselves.
Okay. Now you're talking of basic things. Can we know most of these basic things that some organizations need to know, to be able to protect their computers and software, things like that?
Yeah, going back to that attack that happened, the WannaCry ransomware. It was a vulnerability in one of the Windows operating system, a very old Windows operating system. So the attacker exploited that vulnerability. Microsoft released what we call patches to upgrade system to patch the critical vulnerability. Like vulnerability means a weakness in the system. So they identify that weakness and they roll out what we call patches for people to update their system to later. But a lot of people did not do that, and that ransomware was able to capitalize on that weakness and affected those systems. So organizations should make sure that they upgrade their system from time to time. The old systems that are using the old operating system, they upgrade to the latest one. Individuals should do that as well. Make sure that they have latest antivirus in place. Because one of the things that the attackers are always after is people's password. Make sure they have very strong password. Have what we call two-factor authentication. You can see that banks do that these days. What that means is that it's not only the password that you use to log into your account or log into your system. You give the password and one other thing. It might be like a form of token. It might be like a kind of a text message pin that will be sent to your phone. So this is what we call two-factor authentication. So all these basic hygiene will make your system secured.
All right. It's been said that they use new tricks to get their way. Talking about the hackers now, but the fact that their strategy overall still remains the same. Based on that analogy, what would you say is the best cyber security strategy and policy for the Nigerian environment?
Now, yeah, you're right. The tricks, are changing, but the objective
strategies,
is still the same, and that's the reason why we need to make sure that we protect ourselves. Let me give you an example. In those days, there's always what we call a phishing email. Phishing email is just someone sending email to you claiming to be what they are not. You can claim that is sending the email from the bank, that the bank is sending you email that you need to authenticate yourself, put your account details so that they'll be able to steal that information. So in those days, you can easily check the email and see that, this is not actually coming from. But now they do what we call spoofing. They spoof the email of the bank that you think is actually genuine. So they are changing their tactics, but the overall objective is still the same. So organizations, individuals need to be sensitive of all this, and each organization needs to have what we call a security policy in place. So that policy will be guiding the staff like in this country, we have what we call information security policy and strategy, which obviously is yet to be implemented. But once we implement it, obviously it's going to be guiding everyone in the way we need to conduct ourselves.
What's stopping the implementation of this policy you just mentioned? That you said is in place, but is yet to be implemented.
So I think the government needs to answer that question, because we've got a policy in place. Yeah. So why is it not implemented?
Okay, now I'm talking about the policy, because in the conference, the Cyber Secure 2017 conference, one of the things mentioned was the need to implement this policy we're talking about. So can we know, if this policy is implemented, what's there to gain? Can you let us in on the benefit, those things that we as a country are going to benefit from the implementation?
Yeah, basically there are so many things to be benefited, because if you go through that document, it covers all the areas of cybersecurity. It's got information about awareness and education, which I just mentioned. It mentioned about capacity building, because one of the problems we have in this country is that it's a global problem. It's not even only in Nigeria. It's a lack of experts in terms of cybersecurity. In fact, there's a kind of research, based on forecast that in 5 years' time, there's going to be about 1.8 million shortfall of cybersecurity professionals in the world. So coming back home, we are lacking in terms of cybersecurity experts. So there's a need to implement that policy as well. But once we do that, we'll be there.
What qualifies one to become a cyber security expert? Is it just the fact that you're good in cyber issues makes you an expert, or there are some certification you have to go through to be qualified as a security expert, cyberspace expert, or what?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There are some trainings that you need to undertake, because talking about hacking, you realize that most of the people that do the hacking, they are just teenagers, so we call them the black hats. They just get the tools and hack, and so what we do, we don't need first degree, masters, PhD. What you just need is to have the interest in the in the area, then do some studies. We have what we call ethical hacking, but in an ethical way. You need to know your boundary. Learn. Hacking is just the art of exploiting all these vulnerabilities which I just mentioned. So just to test an organization, you can just do a kind of penetration testing, but with the agreement of that organization. Then we have the people that are on the defensive side, that protect the organization, that looks at incidents, monitor the systems, and so on and so forth. My own association, the Cyber Security Expert Association of Nigeria, we are coming up with our own homegrown certification, so that we will look at what we need in this country and train the younger ones. The only minimum qualification is just for you to be 16-year-old.
Interesting. All right, now looking at your association, what measures have you put in place because you talked of awareness earlier, so what are you doing, or what has been done to create the awareness amongst, let's say, the youth now, or let's say the populace in general, the awareness of cyber crime, cyber threats, cyber security, and all of that? What has your association done, and what does it plan to do after now?
Yeah, thank you. I think our own association is the only association that is championing awareness in Nigeria today, because we have what we call Stop Think Connect. Stop Think Connect is just it's cybersecurity awareness that people should think before they go online, and we've got a website for that, www.stopthinkconnect.ng. Stop Think Connect is a global cybersecurity awareness program, so it's not only in Nigeria, but we are partner with them. So. And we have brought it into our own local way. We have a local content in it. So basically, if you want to cross the road, you don't just jump on the road and cross. You look at the left, look at the right hand. So, and where have we been doing? We've been going to universities. We've been to University of Lagos. We've been to University of Abuja, Futmina, and some other universities, and secondary schools as well. So what we are doing is that we are going to schools to enlighten them about this.
All right. From all the commentary you've gotten, it's very key that the government keys into what you're trying to do, and the government is supposed to put something like a budget to help your cause. The fact that the implementation of policy you've already put on ground is yet to be done, Do you think you're going to get that support from the government as regards even getting budget for cyber issues?
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate that in Nigeria there is no really budget for cyber security, and if there is, we don't see that, because organizations like ours should be supported financially. In other countries, government normally give them grants. It's like we're doing the job for the government, but we are just passionate about what we are doing. Organizations like ours normally have support from government, support from private sectors. So going back to the issue of budgeting, there is a need for government to start budgeting for cyber security, have a certain amount of money that's the single line for cyber security. Well, if we don't do that, we should not expect something to happen before we start doing that. Because my fear is that when it becomes critical, it becomes serious, like the Boko Haram. People are saying, oh, it can affect us. So, but when it affected terrorism, it was a serious problem. So, my fear is very soon there might be a serious cybersecurity issue in Nigeria, and if we are not prepared, we'll be caught unawares.
Okay, aside the government, which other sector has been a challenge for your association and cyber issues in Nigeria?
Okay, in terms of supporting the...
Yes, in terms of supporting the work you're doing and how Nigeria can actually move to the next level in terms of cyber security.
Yeah, okay. Now, it's quite funny because this Top 10 Connect started in America.
Okay.
And in America, it's being led by Homeland Security. Okay. It's more like an awareness program, which we need an equivalent one in Nigeria. So we need leadership from government.
Okay.
And a lot of private organizations are supporting, like Facebook, like Google, and so on and so forth. Okay, now we're in Nigeria now. We've approached them. We are doing the same thing. We are not receiving support from them. You get what I mean? So it's quite, it baffles that.
Is it that they think your association is personalized or what? Why are you not getting the right support?
Because nobody is responsible. There's no corporate responsibility. If we have good legislation in place, we have good governance, everybody will key in into it. So everybody's doing what they like. Google is collecting information about people doing it, because we don't have any data protection law here. Facebook, people come up, post different things on Facebook, fake news, and so on. And government is not doing anything. In UK, now, government wants Facebook to do more regarding news that regarding accounts. People create fake accounts and so on and so forth. But the government is just relaxed there. Nobody's doing anything.
So at this point, what do you think is the way forward? Is it to push? How can you be able to push from your side, from your organization? How can you push? How can you make these things or lay them down to make the government see reasons to like what you said, take up all of these things? How can you push? What do you think can be done from your end?
Yeah, from our end, we just keep saying it. Like forum like this, we make our views known, and also based on the last conference that we did, we've come up with a communique. We'll send it to the presidency and some other agencies as well that are connected to cybersecurity. So we did the same last year.
All right. I know you've been on for setting up agenda for discussion for the last 3 years, and you also made mention of the fact that you're doing local certification for those that are going to be termed as cyber security experts. If you certify them on the home front, would they be good enough to be, appreciated outside the shores of Nigeria, or are you going to be having some international collaboration somewhere along the line?
Yes, we are going to have. We already have international collaboration, and we are still going to expand on that.
So why are you restricting the certification to be just Nigerian based?
We are not actually restricting it to be Nigerian based. It's going to be certified cybersecurity experts.
Okay.
So so that when they have that certification, then they can work anywhere. At the moment, we're talking with, even in Africa, from Africa, okay, like in Ghana, Tanzania, and Kenya. They are talking to our association. They don't have something like this, but they are talking to us and see how we can, from our own experience, extend it to them. So by the time we have that certification, it's going to be like open source. People will know the curriculum, they know what we are teaching, they know what the exam and so on and so forth. That's going to pass through a lot of quality control. And by the time people do it, then organization in the country will be able to know the value and employ people, and the same thing with the international community.
Okay. Now, from the conference that was just concluded, the Cyber Secure Nigeria, you talked about a communique that's been, forwarded to the government. Aside that, what was the fallout? Aside that, what other things happened, and what did you achieve from the conference? Aside the communique that has just been forwarded to the government.
Yeah. So the conference is more like a capacity building, avenue for our members and for the people that participated. You could see that there are a lot of military personnel that were there. From Navy, from Army, and from Air Force, and the Nigerian Police Force, and other security agencies as well. So we were able to highlight security issues, and how they can protect themselves, and at the end of the day protect the nation. You could see that that's why we target cyber defense, building resilient cyber defense. The defense now, the warfare now, is not physical, it's cyber. So that's why we are trying to build capacity and make sure that we're able to defend our cyberspace.
All right, just wanted to ask if you've been working alongside Ogbonnaya Onu, the Minister on Science and Technology. Have you had any collaboration with him as regards what your association is doing?
No, we haven't at the moment, but we are looking into that area to be able to collaborate with Ministry of Science and Tech.
And then my final question, just to look at, because we're talking cyber security, you're looking at equipment and all that, and Nigeria is not really top notch in terms of that aspect. Is that another form of challenge?
No, it's not a challenge really, because what we just need is funding. To be honest, if we have the fund, we'll be able to come up with that. In fact, we can come up with some homegrown solution as well. Okay. We've got brilliant minds in this country, people that can develop software, people that can come up with hardware. Because when we're talking about security, we don't have to go to China to buy. You don't have to go to Nocturne there. Because if there's any problem now, they will exploit. You could see what happened. The NSA in America, they put backdoor in most of these phones and all this thing that we do, which was exposed recently. And it was one of those backdoors that was exploited with this wanna cry ransomware. So we should build our own security equipment, but government needs to fund it.
Yeah, so from what you said now, the major issue is funding.
The major issue is funding, to be honest.
All right.
Well, sorry, on the lighter note, just wanted to know why it was termed WannaCry attackware. Why is that name?
To be honest, they normally come up with different names, but just bring
WannaCry. It sounded
probably it's going to make people cry.
Okay, before I let you guys, I just wanted to enlighten our viewers, like in a workplace environments for staff who are in the workplace, what can they do to their computers? You advise them not to just open any sites. What can we do to avoid things like the cyber attacks, in our computers?
Yeah.
In the workplace environment.
Yeah. So
a general advice.
Yeah, general advice in the workplace environment, we should just maintain basic hygiene and make sure that we are very responsible with our system. Okay. For instance, when you are at work, you don't need to start going to all the social media sites like Facebook and Twitter and so on and so on. Most of this malware, if you go to all the social media sites, you see a link, you click on it, and before you know it, you download that on your computer because it's connected to the network of the organization. It affects other people. Then also, don't post information about your organization on social media, and don't send sensitive information through all these personal email accounts. For instance, like Gmail, Yahoo. You realize that just last year about 1 billion Yahoo accounts was compromised. So obviously those are the things that we need to. And when some people do write their password actually and put it on the table, so you should have a better practice of making sure that you have a complex password which has got different characters and very long, and also don't just keep it idly running on your table. Make sure that you memorize it.
All right. Sorry, this question skipped my head, but I just had to ask it as regards Russia's role in the hacking that took place in the US, and also looking at what happened during the France elections. For you, how did you see this, or how did you take this as cyber security experts? What did that mean to you, the fact that Russians had a hand in hacking during the US election and also in France?
So it's allegation. It's just allegedly. Nobody has confirmed because America said, "Oh, Russia," and Russia said, "No, we
But
didn't."
is Russia that good to probably might have had that
Russia is quite good. Russia has got capability
to do it?
offensive capability to do that. They've got cyber armies to do that. And what's it called? North Korea has got capability as well. If you just recently, it's been also allegedly that North Korea was involved in these WannaCry ransomware based on the code that they see because threat intelligence they see the code. So what I'm trying to say is
if
that
the code links to a country, that means it's like 90% possible that that country was actually involved. Right?
yeah, absolutely, yeah, but because we don't really have the evidence to say that. Yeah. But so coming back to Nigeria, in 2019 we are going to have a election. Okay. Mark my word. Hackers are going to come. I said that about 2 years ago. Nigeria needs to be serious. Probably that will make them serious. So because some people are telling me, I told someone that we should have to be very careful because there might be a foreign influence in our coming election. They said, "Oh no, we don't use electronic voting." I said, people don't do that. They hack into your emails, they hack into your personal information and post it online. And they target politicians. Yes. So if politicians are not serious, they need to be very serious in terms of cybersecurity. And that's what we're telling them. Maybe that will affect them. That would be a wake-up call for them.
But maybe that might be positive on your own part.
Absolutely.
Take it serious then.
Absolutely. In as much as I didn't want the WannaCry to happen. But when it happened, it gave everybody just looking for cybersecurity professionals, which is good for my people.
And I'm sure they were going to give them a very, very fine name. It's not going to be WannaCry, but something more.
Definitely.
Thank you very, very much for coming on the show. This one was quite interesting having you. We hope that people have been enlightened, and we hope that the Cybercrime Act will be implemented for the betterment of our cyberspace in Nigeria. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
The program is still New Day, and it continues just right after this break. Stay with us.